In this module, I want to start taking a look at the fundamentals of SQL queries, because if you're going to learn how to exploit SQL injection risks, you need to start developing a really strong capability around SQL as a query language. We're going to have a look at some of the basics in this module, and then as the course progresses, we'll get into more and more complex queries and commands within SQL Server. Now, as I said in the introduction, a SQL injection attack can be mounted against all sorts of different relational database management systems. I'm going to focus on Microsoft SQL Server, but I'm also going to point out where you need to be conscious of differences in the language semantics between SQL Server and other relational database management systems. So with that said, let's go and take a look at the overview of this module. So we're going to cover a number of different things in this module. And firstly, as I've said a couple of times now, the success of a SQL injection attack is really going to depend on understanding SQL. In the introduction of this module, I mentioned that SQL injection attacks are often automated. And certainly in those cases, you can just point a tool at a web server and let it go and do the work for you. But this course is about actually understanding SQL injection, knowing what's going on under the covers of these tools, and being able to mount an attack manually yourself. There's only so far you can go with automated tools, and particularly if you want to exploit the more advanced concepts within SQL injection, you're going to need to have a pretty good understanding of that SQL syntax. So at least a very fundamental knowledge of SQL is going to be very important. I'm also going to talk about basic database behaviors. So how does a SQL server actually behave? What can you do with a SQL server, at least beyond just creating and querying tables? And one thing you'll see as the course progresses is that you can actually get right down to the operating system level with the SQL injection attack. You can start running commands on the host if the web application and database server are insecure enough that they allow the attacker to do just about anything. And unfortunately, that is often the case as well. So that's all I want to talk about in the overview. And what I want to do now is go and jump into SQL Server Management Studio and start looking at some SQL syntax. Let's jump over there now.